Okay, we're going to look at the mechanics of how debate and voting take place in Congress. This is the fourth section of Chapter 12. The majority party controls floor debate in both the House and the Senate. In the House, it's the all-powerful Speaker of the House. He's the one that controls the debate there. And in the Senate, it's not the President of the Senate that controls floor debate, it's the Majority Leader. And so the Majority Leader is currently a Democrat because the Senate is controlled by the Democrats now. So these two powerhouse figures, the Speaker in the House and the Majority Leader in the Senate, have the power of recognition. The power of recognition is just like when you raise your hand in class, there's a bunch of kids raising their hand, you want to be noticed by the teacher gets to call on who he wants to. That's the power of recognition. The Speaker and the Majority Leader can call on who they want to. So even though you're in Congress where there's a lot of opposing opinions and people on different sides, you have to make sure that you keep on the good side of the leaders or they're not going to call on you. So the power of recognition. So in this little section we're going to look at general debate, how that takes place on a bill, then how debate and voting takes place on amendments, and then how the final passage of a vote takes place. So first, let's look at the House and Senate debate. Usually, the debate is set in the House for a bill to 1 hour, and 30 minutes is given to each side. 30 minutes to the Republicans, 30 minutes to the Democrats. And then the two leaders of that bill, like the leaders for and against it, are the ones that pick on people who get to speak during that time. In the Senate, there's potential more open debate. The senators have to agree to limit debate if there's going to be an agreement to do that. And so they don't often go 1 hour like the House does. It could be various things depending on what they agree on for limiting debate. There's always the threat in the Senate that's not a threat in the House of a filibuster. Filibuster is a word you need to know for the Constitution test. A filibuster is when one senator talks and talks and talks and talks and talks, thus stopping anything else from taking place. Strom Thurmond from South Carolina was famous. He's got the longest one on record, 24 hours. He stood in one spot and talked and talked and talked for 24 hours. So the Senate has a way to stop a filibuster, but it takes 3/5 of the members, or 3/5 of 100 is 60. That's called cloture. So if the Senate votes cloture, which means 60 senators say stop, you can stop the filibuster. So a filibuster is like a threat, like saying, I don't want this Senate to transact any more business until you come my direction a little bit. So a filibuster is really usually from a minority person trying to get a little bit of cred from the majority to say, listen to what I say, and that's the purpose of a filibuster. Another thing that can be done in the Senate is to put a hold on debate, and so, or a hold on a bill, excuse me. You put a hold on a bill. A senator can put a hold on a bill, which means if you bring that bill up on the Senate floor, I'm probably going to filibuster it. So a hold acts as a threat. So you don't actually go through the filibuster, but if people see that you have a hold on the bill, they might come to you and say, okay, what do you want? And so it's a way to get some power. So debate in the Senate's a little more controlled. Debate in the House is a little more controlled. 1 hour in the Senate, it's a little bit more wide open. All right, let's look at amendments that can be added to bills. Okay, in the House, if you're going to add an amendment to a bill, it must be germane. That means it must deal with the bill. For instance, if the bill is about farm subsidies, we want to subsidize farmers to not grow certain crops, then if you're going to add an amendment, it's got to have something to do with farming. It's got to be germane. In the Senate, though, riders can be added on anything. It's called a rider when it's an amendment that's added that's not directly related to what the bill's about. So those riders can be sweet or they can be poison. A sweet rider would be one in which people want that thing you're adding on the bill, so that they would tend to vote for it, even if they don't like the bill itself very much, because your rider is sweet. Hey, we'll give a new facility to Bartlett High School. Okay, so that's sweet, so you'll vote for that, even though you don't like the bill as much because of the rider. But a rider can also be poison, something you don't want. We will give the money that was going to go to Illinois, we'll give to Indiana. Okay, if that's put in as a rider, people from Illinois are going to go, I'm not voting for that. Even though I like the bill, because of that rider, that's poison. So again, riders can be added in the Senate that are sweet or they're poison. Many riders, I drew a picture of a Christmas tree there, many riders are often added to must-pass bills because it's an emergency funding. We must fund the debt ceiling. We've got to fund it. So riders are added to the bill knowing it's going to pass, so people get all their goodies in there. It's like a Christmas tree. Everybody throws a rider in there because they know no matter how bad their rider might be to somebody else, they'll probably vote for it because it's a must-pass bill. So that's called a Christmas tree bill. When voting takes place, there are three basic types of votes that are taken. A voice vote and a standing vote are both votes that aren't recorded what each individual member said. So in a voice vote, all the ayes say yes, all the nays say nay, all those against say nay. The leader listens and just goes by what he thinks. So I heard more ayes, so it passes. Well, that way it's an oral vote, it's a voice vote, and nobody knows how anybody voted. Same thing with a standing vote. Everybody in favor, stand up. Okay, sit down. Everybody opposed, stand up. Okay, so a standing vote, again, the individual congressmen aren't recorded. It's just a matter of, okay, we count the number of people standing now, we count the number of people standing now, and so the measure passes or doesn't pass. But in a roll call vote, this is a vote like it's important to the American people. People want to see where my congressman stood on this vote. A roll call vote, every vote is registered. And if you're a little bit worried that, you know, your view on the bill will lose your votes back home, you can always vote present. That means you're not voting yes, you're not voting no, but you're saying you're there. So usually it's considered a little bit cowardly to vote present a lot, but that's a choice you have as a congressman on a roll vote. And then finally, the pressures that operate on legislators when they're, you know, going to vote. First of all, there's interest groups. Interest groups can bless them with money. And so interest groups, or the National Rifle Association, there's a lot of pressure. Sometimes interest groups are called pressure groups. There's a lot of pressure on congressmen. Hey, you know, we'd like to give you some money. We want you to vote for that, you know, for that gun bill. You know, we want you to vote against that gun bill. And so that's one pressure operating on legislators. Another is party leaders. You've got the whips out there. Remember the whips from the party try and get you to vote the party line. Even though you're a Democrat, you really like this Republican bill and you're thinking about voting for it. But the party leader's on you saying, no, no, you can't vote for that Republican bill. So that's another pressure. And then just the pressure of colleagues. Log rolling is a vocabulary word for you. Log rolling, you know how lumberjacks get on a log and they roll it, you know, they can balance themselves in the water and the log gets rolling. Well, log rolling means in the congressional sense that you get things going by you saying to your colleague, look, even though I don't like your bill, I'll vote for it if you vote for my bill. And that thing gets things going, and then everybody will vote for other people's votes. So that's called log rolling, or as one legislator called it, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Okay, that's the end of section 4 about voting and debating.